Hello and welcome to This Naked Chat, a podcast where six friends from different walks of life come together for honest, unscripted conversations about living alcohol-free and everything that comes with it. We all met at a live event hosted by Annie Grace of This Naked Mind in March of 2024. What started as a mastermind group with the six of us and Annie turned into some really deep friendships, filled with connection, tough conversations, and a lot of laughter. And after a year of growing and learning together, we realized that these conversations might help more than just us. So here we are, no scripts, just real talk. We are incredibly grateful to Annie and This Naked Mind for helping us get this off the ground and for the impact that her work has had on each of our lives. I am Brian, and I am joined by Kori, Agnes, Judi, Jenie, and Sammie. Let's dive in. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, Brian. Hey, everyone.
Everyone's here.
Yeah.
Hey, Judi, Jenie, Agnes, Sammie, Kori. How wonderful. You know what we should talk about? Well, why? This isn't fair.
No prejudge. Spit it out.
Hold on. Let me make sure I can read this.
Oh,
Hold on,
he's
one
making
second.
it out.
He's got the wrong readers on.
He's just
had to
really
put-
hoping.
middle-aged.
I had to put on my +3 readers instead of my +2 to make sure.
He's also hoping that maybe the topic will be different. If
No,
he
that's
changes
right.
his
He
glasses.
changes his glasses.
Yeah.
Being single, who holds you up when struggles happen?
I love that.
Who wrote that?
I know. I was like, oh, God.
I submitted that because
Nice.
it was submitted to me by someone in one of the groups I was in with the mass public.
Awesome. You want to kick it off?
Sure.
I think this is
Sure.
great. It just, when I read it, I was like, that hit home.
For the record, I also think this is applicable to married people because
Yep.
your spouse is not necessarily your, everything. So
Thank you for that.
Go ahead, Judi.
So my bottom line is God. Period. End of sentence. I bring it. I mean, that's personally the only way I get through anything. And then the other part is you find people of like mind somehow or another, and you hope they're there for you. I mean, but God has never let me down. People have. So
Mhm.
that's my bottom line. And people say, well, how do you do that? You just, it's a surrender thing. And I don't mean surrender like, oh, I give up everything or I have no control about anything. No, I don't mean that. I mean, it's choice. It's choice to say, you know what, this is bigger than me. So I need something bigger than me to help me manage it.
Does that
Would
for you
you-
look like prayer then, Judi?
All the
Or-
time.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So
well,
you're
you
just
can't-
saying it out loud, or are you in your head kind of talking to God?
Well, I have all kind of prayer practices. I can talk to God out loud. I can walk around my house if I'm
Yeah,
no,
what I
if
wondered.
if I'm stewing about something, I'll say,
Yeah.
and I get real sassy. My thought is that, you know what, he created me. He knows who I am. And so if I can't be who I am with him, then what's the point? So if I have to walk around my house stewing about something and bop, 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 bop about it, I do that. Or if I have also pious practices, if you want to call them that I start each morning in a meditative prayer, and I read scripture, and I try to learn from the people that are in the Bible. I mean, like human beings, like the fishermen, for example, just everyday human beings. How did they get on? Because they weren't perfect. And I try to look at their stories and humanize them. And then I go, oh, well, maybe I should try that idea. And I go to church and I try to learn from that. I'm just always trying to learn. I'm trying to look at what's the other possibility that I don't understand on a spiritual level. Because when my spirit is calm, or when my spirit can just shut up and just listen, I get a lot further along.
can I
That's
ask
one-
a question about that also? Like, sometimes people say that God acts through other people. So like if you if God is the one who is bringing it to you, but that sometimes that force will come through in other ways.
I agree. 100%. 100%. I agree. Like somebody, I can be anywhere. I can be at the grocery store and be having a really bad day, and some little kid will come up and say something that's super poignant. And it's like, you're 5 years old. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And then I say, wow, isn't that bizarre? How? It depends how attuned you are to what you're thinking, I guess. Because if you're if I'm really stewing on something, it never fails that somebody, one time, here's a very bizarre story. And I was downtown and I was frustrated with everything. And I was frustrated with God. And I was frustrated, just period. And I was done. And so I'm pulled into this parking lot in front of a shop that actually sold all kinds of like, I don't know, stuff that's not considered God stuff. Like it had adult entertainment and all these things. But I pull in there because I had to park because traffic was crazy. So I was just trying to park there for a minute. And I back up behind this truck. And on the sign of this truck is this big sign that says, "Got Jesus?" and a question mark. And I went, oh, all right. And so I just left and I was fine the rest of the day. So, I mean, it's little things like that. God is everywhere all the time if we just allow that to happen. My humble opinion.
Yeah. I was thinking on this, I think it changes as you age a little too, right? Is when I was younger, and I think I've seen, I don't know if there's studies or just kind of people saying this, but like, I used to think that I needed hundreds of friends and that I actually had hundreds of friends. And I think you find out as you get older that you don't need that many, but you need some that can actually hold space for you. And I think I was just talking about this because like my mom was kind of that person for me. So like losing her a couple years ago, I've had kind of a hard time since finding those same sort of people. And I've noticed that most of my friends aren't capable of actually doing it, right? Like I'll go have a conversation with someone and I'm needing this like deep conversation and deep connection, and they're on their phone the whole time. So like I think this is a really tough one of like, outside of like Judy's great point of like, do you have, other people that you do feel like you can struggle and that you have some support behind you.
I also find like that it's, and kind of to this point about, whether you're single or married, I do feel like there's this myth, if you will, that like there's gonna be one person that does that for you, like
Yeah.
We probably all have this experience where like, hey, maybe the friend that's on your phone and on his phone and he can't hold space for deep conversation, but maybe he's really good at, like when you just want to like chill out and do bro stuff, right? Or and then you have another friend who is down for, for deep conversation, and then maybe you have the other friend who is like into like some hobby that you really like I feel like the thing that, like you said, as we've gotten older, that maybe I've come to some realization that it doesn't have to be like this one person, and that it's probably not 100 friends,
Yeah.
but there is like this small group that gives you some some sense of connection in different ways.
Yeah, which would go to friendships for you have them for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. So that's really what it falls. And also, they can change over time. So even if they felt like it's a lifetime, it may not actually be a lifetime. But there's a reason and a purpose for all of it. So when you need somebody for, it's finding the right person that could give you whatever it is. So again, it goes back to understanding yourself and what exactly it is that you need. And then finding the right person, because then you could have those expectations of people that love and care about you, and they're great friendships, but they may not be able to give you that support and you may feel disconnected. But
And
that's
what a great
okay.
point. That's such a great point about the changing too, right? Like they change and you change, so maybe they aren't the person like right now, but like who knows? Like maybe it comes back around.
Exactly. We're different every single day. Every day's life experience makes us a different person tomorrow.
This episode is sponsored by The Path by This Naked Mind. It's a year-long program that combines expert guidance, daily support, and a connected community to help you take back control of your drinking so that you can wake up without regret, trust yourself again, and live a life that doesn't revolve around alcohol. Unlike the programs that focus on your behavior alone, The Path helps you eliminate the desire to drink using science-backed content, world-class coaching, and a compassionate community that really, truly gets it. So you can feel confident and in control of your relationship with alcohol without shame, without rules, and without missing out on the things that matter most. And in 2025, support is more accessible than ever before with live online coaching calls every hour on the hour from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Saturday. No matter where you are in the world or what your day looks like, support is always there, right in your back pocket. Learn more and start your path to freedom at nakedmindpath.com.
Bringing it to church. Whoa.
But I think this really relates to, like, for me, this came up a lot when I did quit drinking. That was kind of what held me up when I was struggling in my head, right? Is like I go to a bar and have superficial conversations with people while getting drunk to avoid the struggles. And once I stopped drinking and I didn't have that support, air quotes, I had to find real support. So to your point, Agnes, those people weren't the same. And you kind of have to then be like, okay, wow, I've never actually talked to any of these people about struggles. And I found out they can't actually talk to me about them. And I had to replace almost everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it goes also to the fact that people themselves are very uncomfortable. So, as much as they want to, they don't know maybe how to communicate or how to support you, or it makes their own personal feel like it makes themselves uncomfortable. So, they can't be that person for you. So it could be explaining it or telling them exactly what kind of support it is that we need. Like, I need to vent. And I do that with my girlfriends. Like, listen, I just need to vent right now. Can you hold the space? If they can't hold the space because they have too much going on, they'll say, I can't hold the space. Not a problem. Go to the next one, whatever the case may be. And again, then it's like, I'm not looking for advice. I'm not looking for all these different things. So if I'm clear on what it is I need and I communicate it to them, then that's where I'm going to get the support that I need.
Yeah.
Let me just say, you must have the most self-aware friends that I've ever seen in my life for them to be able to say yes or no.
There isn't many. So you've got, I would say, about 3 really good ones. The rest, hit and miss.
That's what
That's
I
still-
thought.
that's
Because
impressive.
everyone jumps to advice, right? It's like they immediately step into your shoes, but they're in their shoes and they're like, this is what I'd do. And you're like, that actually just makes me hurt deeper. Thanks.
But that can happen in our coaching roles as
For
well,
sure.
right?
For
I
sure.
mean, we can be like the fix it gal or guy. We can be the fix it person instead of the, just be space person.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's tough.
And
Well,
don't
I
you
think that's
find
hard though. Like that's hard in coaching because people are there they have an expectation to change, and so you're constantly in the like, am I holding space right now, or am I like trying to suggest or ask questions, or that's hard, and it's hard to know with friends, of like, what they're wanting in that moment. Sorry, Brian, I stepped on you.
No, I think to that point is, I don't know that for me, until I have a connection with someone, so if whether it's a coach, a therapist, a friend, until there is like a deeper connection, I won't be able to share my true stuff until I have that. Does that make sense? Like, so, and I think that coming from the other side, you would need that too. Like, you'd have to trust them that, hey, you're capable of holding space, and we do have this connection to where I'm willing now to open up a little more than I was. I still struggle with this a lot. Like, I really have to trust someone before I can even pry open a little.
I think that speaks to sometimes where you would go to more of a professional person, depending on what you're struggling with, as opposed to somebody that you know. Sometimes,
yeah, for sure.
Sometimes it's, you don't want to be talking to somebody that you know about stuff.
That's true, especially if they know so much more about your life. But also, though, I mean, I've been in therapeutic relationships where I was in therapy for years with people and still did not tell them, everything. I mean, there's still other stuff going on. I think it's like a trust thing, but it's also like an, internal, there's like a lot of shame and, trauma stuff that keeps us from being able to open up. I mean, there's a lot, I feel like, that goes on into that, like being able to trust somebody and letting them be a support. I mean, sometimes I think we think we don't even deserve that, right? It's a tough deal to identify that.
What's been interesting for me is being on the other side as a coffee shop owner for 12 years, and repeatedly over those 12 years having complete strangers tell me the most intimate anecdotes of their life. And they weren't like trivial. This wasn't trivial shit. This was major struggles that they were having around relationship, situation, emotion. I mean, you name it. Random people would tell me stuff, and I've had it happen on lengthy-ish airplane flights. And so I think about that a lot. The joke being, I mean, people will have the most intimate conversation with a bartender or their hairdresser, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're on the flip side of the, wanting that connection to be established beforehand. Isn't it interesting that it can also be established after the fact when there's absolutely no connection? You're never going to see this person again. And yet there was something so freeing about telling that part of your story.
Right.
That's really fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm. The anonymity, right, maybe allows that freedom to happen.
It's like that sometimes we just need to get something off our chest and it doesn't matter who's in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Brian, the moral of that story is get on an airplane and go for a ride.
Right. No kidding.
Come to Colorado on October 19th.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yay.
What do you do? So this is, and I think Judi kind of got to this a little bit early on, but when we say who holds us up when struggles happen, that seems to point to someone else. And I'm wondering internally what sort of mechanisms you found helpful, like to, I don't know how to word this, but not go down some spiral on your own, I guess, like you need, I think maybe it was Agnes of the like, there is some self-love that needs to happen as well. Right. Like it can't all maybe just be depending on others seems a little risky sometimes as well.
I would say gratitude is what I tend to do. When I'm really in a funk, I just try and think of something I'm grateful for, and it's never as bad as I think it is.
Yeah.
I have, Brian, my relationship with my mom was not far removed from yours with yours. And I mean, she died in 1993, so it's been forever. But if I am really, 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 really struggling about something, I try and put myself in sort of a meditative place and tap into what she would have to say about this. Because
Interesting.
it's that wisdom is in me somewhere, but if I can hear it in her voice, I just get a lot of calm from that and insight and a dose of peace. It just that's what I do, and it has been helpful.
So Elizabeth Gilbert has a new book out, and so she's been all over the place. And and so now, because I've watched a couple of interviews, that's all that's in my YouTube feed. So I watched this older podcast with her and Tim Ferriss, and she's talking about two-way prayer, and she has this practice where she says, God, what would you have me know today? So instead of kind of what people usually think of as prayer is like all you're doing is talking. And she says, I just ask this question every day and then just like listen. And I found this so interesting. And kind of what you were saying, Jenny, is like, I started using it in other ways. Like I just started like in the morning saying, hey, because right now for me, something that's so, what's the word? Just so present is like not knowing myself. And so I just ask myself, hey, deepest self, my true self, what would you have me know today? So even if there's like all this like flurry of other shit going on, it's like, hey, you down in there, the real person that's unencumbered by all of my mind crap, what should I really know? Like what's the most important thing about this today? And then just like there's such a comfort, and like even if it doesn't seem totally relevant and in all the flurry of crap that's happening, it's still like, oh, there's some wisdom in there somewhere, right?
I love
And so
that.
it's kind of like, yeah, talking to your mom, talking to God, like somewhere there's a voice that knows like what is really the most important thing for you today.
Do you think there's a piece of that? I think I might have talked to Kori about this. I went to a service yesterday, and the part of the conversation was moving from like our head to our heart sort of thing. And I wonder if part of that is like because our brains are always just, and like all of these things, like the prayer, the talking to the mom, the even talking to a deeper self seems to be pulling that maybe from a mind down somewhere, to a heart that's a more kind of I don't know what that means. I don't know if that even is a thing scientifically, but it's what it feels like to me sometimes. Like,
I've heard it described as kind of like moving from the fear space to the heart space.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when you're really struggling, ultimately it's down to a fear about something, isn't it? So it's trying to go from that fear space into your heart space so you can breathe and
I love that, Sammie.
not get overwhelmed.
Yep.
I really like that.
Absolutely.
All right.
Did we
Didn't mean to end it then.
We solved.
Mic drop from Sammie.
We solved that. I think this is just really important too right now. I've noticed this in like, I think even the conversations, Kori, you mentioned Elizabeth Gilbert, like, cause she was on Ritual and they were even talking about like how they're both kind of 12-step people. And there were, I think it was a great conversation. I think I even said to Kori, or no, it was to someone else. I was like, it makes me even want to join a 12-step.
Yeah.
There are like,
right.
they did such a good job of like, it's almost like you do got to kind of search for these people or find these people or these things. And to Agnes's point, they change, which is really fucking frustrating. I wish to have to go find them again, but it's kind of
whatever works for you guys, like.
But don't you think the more time you can spend, to Agnes's point, to Kori's point, to all of the points, Sammie and Jenie, don't you think that the more time you can spend really getting to know yourself and appreciating yourself, then you are really going to know who it is or what it is that will fill you? Because the long and the short of it is, when we give up alcohol, when we're struggling with food, when we're struggling with whatever behaviors are addicting, we can't just straight up stop, because that leaves a huge void, which then gives us tons of fear, which then makes us nuts, and we're blind to every other good thing that could be in our universe. We're blind to it. So don't you think if we can just take a huge deep breath and say, okay, this is the step to my future. Right now, me sitting here talking to you guys and listening to this, you're all giving me something. And we may not agree on stuff, and that's okay, because you're all giving me something. Even if I don't agree, I'm then saying, oh, well, then what do I really think? I don't agree on that. Well, then what do you think? Right? So, I mean, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter a lot, but I think we try to find answers for ourselves that may not be there right away, and that we have to open the door and just appreciate what's in front of us and learn, because we don't know where God, to Kori's point, does God work through other people? Yeah. But it might not be in agreement. We might have somebody say stuff to us and we get all nuts about it, but we might learn something from that. I don't know. I think we just get too hard on ourselves and too anxious and too full of fear. And if we could just take a deep breath for even 5 seconds and say, all right, here I am right now. What's the next minute? And it's just minute at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe too, Judi, to that point, I was thinking it doesn't always have to be, I think that seems to be correct on you need to find yourself. Even during that sort of process, I found that support is helpful.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not in the struggles, but having other people kind of maybe even on a similar path of, like, I don't know what, getting more in touch with kind of your soul or yourself. It helps to have people around even during that process, because sometimes that's.
Well, yeah, because you can get too much in your head.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You can get too much in your head, and then you got a tornado going on in there.
Exactly.
And forget about it.
Yeah.
So that's when you go to the store and let 5-year-olds talk to you.
Yes. Yes. That, and also just like knowing that you're not crazy. Like, I mean, there's so many times, right? I have this crap swirling in my head, and I'm like, this is psychosis. Like, what in the hell? And then, like, you hear somebody else say something similar to what you're experiencing, and you're like, oh, okay. So this is like the human condition. It's not just me making stuff up, and feeling like I really am sick. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, that's this week's. I love that. That was fun.
Love it.
I'm going to stop recording, though. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Bye, everyone.
Hey, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If something we said resonated, made you laugh, or made you think, we'd love it if you share it with someone who might need it too. And if you're curious about going alcohol-free or just ready to feel more connected to yourself, check out This Naked Mind. Annie's work brought us all together, and we're so grateful for the impact it's had. On that note, a big thank you to Annie Grace and This Naked Mind for making this podcast possible. We'll see you next time on This Naked Chat.